Tyres, probably the most frequently replaced component on the vehicle, and most likely if you've been to a tyre shop or a workshop, this is the thing you're told you need replaced most frequently.
And you don't want to muck around when it comes to tyres. These are your point of contact with the roads, so incredibly important for safety. We're going to go through 3 of the main reasons why you might get told that you need to replace your tyres.
Even wear, uneven wear, and the good old-fashioned puncture.
Hey guys, I'm Molly.
And I'm Dan, and welcome to the Mad Garage.
In this series, we're going to arm you with a bit more car knowledge.
And who knows, next time your car needs some care and attention, we could even save you some cash.
This is Madvice. In racing, we have a tyre for every type of track, every type of condition, every type of surface, but your road tyre has to do it all. Well, unless you live in a winter climate, but in Australia, 99% of the time, your one tyre has to do all the conditions.
And this is a lovely new example of a road tyre. Good all-rounder, it has to do everything. This one is brand spanking, which means it's got all of its tread still on it. It's about 7mm of tread. Now, if this tyre has a good, happy, healthy life, it will wear down evenly with correct use and maintenance to a point where it has to be replaced. At what point? About 1.6mm of tread depth is the legal minimum on road tyres in Australia. Now, even though that's the lowest you can get down to, it's not necessarily recommended. You can legally drive around like that, but most manufacturers, most tyre shops will recommend you replace the tyre when it gets down to about 3mm of travel. So that's almost double the minimum tolerance.
And I wouldn't muck around with that. You've got to think you need these channels to flush out water if it's raining and things like that. So yes, I would say go with the manufacturer's recommendation. They're the ones that are doing all the testing and development on these tyres, so they know what conditions it will still work the most effectively.
I mean, really, the simplest way of looking at it is more tread, better. You know, it's the same on your rally tyre, it's the same on this. If you've got more tread there, the tyre's going to perform better. But obviously, you don't want to replace tyre every 6 months. So that's officially the word on tread. Now, the difficulty, though, is if it's wearing completely evenly, it's a very easy situation to say, measure the tread depth, that's how many mils you've got left, you can make an educated decision.
What if it's wearing unevenly?
Oh my God, it's like it's what I was about to say or something.
Do we have a tyre for you?
Yes, we do. This is a good example of a tyre that has not worn evenly. Molly's going to go into exactly the reasons why that might have happened, but as you can see, in the middle, it appears to have heaps of tread. In fact, you can still see these little minimum tread wear indicators that are miles away from the edge of the tread. But look at the sides, the shoulders, you can see it's actually down to pretty much nothing. So, the danger here is you might look at your tyre from the outside and see the outside shoulder looks fine, but what you can't see is on the inside, for one reason or another, it's worn down below minimum. Now, it doesn't have to be the whole tyre that's below 1.6, just one small section below 1.6mm, and that needs to be replaced. So, if you're being told your tyre needs to be replaced and you don't believe them, just make sure you get an explanation as to why. It might be down to that reason.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that can cause uneven tyre wear, and the 2 most common ones are your wheel alignment. Your wheel alignment's off, and so it's putting more stress on one part of the tyre. So again, if that is your issue, not only do you need to replace the tyre, but you need to get a wheel alignment as well, otherwise it's going to do it to the next tyre and you're going to prematurely keep wearing your tyres, and also the car's just not going to be running as well in general if the alignment's off. And the second one, which I think is what's happened in this case, is running with the wrong tyre pressures. So it looks like you can see how much wear it's had here on the inside, and then on the outside as well, you can see it's worn down a bit. So that is a pretty clear sign, or pretty classic sign, of when you're running too low a tyre pressure. So the inside of the tyre is sitting lower and it's putting more stress on the outside. If you have the opposite and just a narrow patch of wear on the inside, that's usually the opposite, that you're running too high a pressure. So it looks like this has maybe had a slow puncture or drop down in pressure on a long road trip, and it's just done too many Ks before it's been rectified, and unfortunately, yeah, means that we have to replace the tyre early. It's always good for the rally budget.
Once again, all of these things can be avoided with just good maintenance. Keeping an eye on your tyre pressures is obviously, we go on about it all the time, but this is one of the many, many reasons why it's important to make sure you check your tyre pressures regularly.
I feel like he's saying it to the camera, but really he's saying it to me.
No, but I mean, when you're out racing, that's the first thing you're checking. You would be fanatical
We would do our
about
pressures
tyre pressures.
Before every stage, after every stage, tyre pressures, you know, because it's all about traction and grip, and then that leads to performance. So on the road, the traction group is more about your safety. On the racetrack, we need to get the optimal performing. So yeah, the tyres, again, they connect you to the road. Getting them operating in the most optimal conditions is what it's all about.
There is one other reason you might want to replace a tyre, and that is because you've got a puncture. The puncture is where most people get into a little bit of grief when it comes to talking to your tyre shop and someone telling you need to replace a tyre, because tyres are repairable. If you get a puncture, a lot of the time it's not the end of the world, you don't have to replace the tyre. But often tyre shops see this, now forgive me, there are some great ones out there, but a lot of the ones who aren't so good will see this as an opportunity for a sale. And this is where you really need to empower yourself and know what they're talking about so that you can come back with the right questions and make the proper decision. So, you've gone into a tyre shop, let's imagine this scenario, you've got a flat tyre, you know you've got a puncture and they say it needs replacing. Because it is, and here's the word, the magic word, unrepairable. Well, is the tyre unrepairable? Let me explain. There's a lot more to it, but in layman's terms, exactly what deems a tyre unrepairable. If the puncture has occurred in the middle 75% of the tread and it's below about 5 millimeters in diameter, that is a repairable puncture. All right, simple as that. Now, obviously there's other bits and pieces, but as a general rule, that's what it comes down to. So, when it's unrepairable, it's because you've got a puncture within too close a region of the sidewall or the sidewall itself. If you get a puncture in here, that, I'm afraid, nothing you can do about it. There's plenty of things you can do in the bush to sort of save it and get a little bit further, but it is not...
Got 3 punctures in Dakar and we only carry 2 spares, and then I lost 3.5 hours waiting for a truck, and in those 3.5 hours the puncture was fairly massive on all of them, all in the sidewall. It was these sharp stones that were just driving past them, not even like really driving over them. And I tried to repair all of the sidewalls with those, I don't know.
What do you call them?
Dog turds is what I call them.
They do look a lot like a little dog poo.
You know,
long, narrow dog poo.
Yeah, the tyre puncture repair kit, you know, where you put the needle in and pull the putty out. That does not work in the sidewall. I spent 3 hours trying to do it just because I had nothing better to do.
Yeah, so there is a good reason for it. Sidewall, and because the sidewall flexes a lot with the movement of the tyre and the vehicle.
This needs to be 100%.
It does need to be completely integral. So if you've got damage in the sidewall, sadly not repairable. So remember, middle 75% of the tread, that is repairable as long as it's under about 5 millimeters in diameter of the damage itself. So if they're telling you need a tyre replaced and it conforms to all those things, you might be able to go back and say, well, I'd prefer you repair it. Now there is another contentious area, and it concerns the so-called run flat tyre. This is not one of them. Run flat tyres were a really good invention.
You're so passionate about this subject.
I am, absolutely. Because a lot of people have lost a lot of money. Perhaps you're one of those people who's been told you need a run flat tyre replaced. So run flat tyres, ironically, are not tyres that run flat. They do exactly the opposite. They've got a really, really strong sidewall so that if you do get a puncture, the tyre actually never goes flat. It manages to keep rolling on the structure and the strength of its sidewall. The problem with that, though, is if you roll too far on that tyre, it will then destroy the tyre. You can't repair it at all. So this is where a lot of people run into trouble. They go to the tyre shop, they say, you've got a puncture and a run flat, I'm afraid they're not repairable, they need to be replaced. That is not correct. A run flat tyre is just as repairable as any other normal tyre, provided you've caught it at the right time. So if you've gone into the tyre shop because that little light has come up on your dashboard saying you've got low tyre pressure, but it hasn't completely lost all its pressure, it's a repairable tyre, just exactly as this one is. The danger though, if you've rolled on that tyre for longer than the manufacturer recommends with 0 pressure in the tyre, it is done. So go to the tyre shop informed. If you know at what point the tyre got its puncture and you know you haven't run on it down below a critical pressure, or if you have for a limited time, tyre's repairable. Don't let them tell you that a run flat tyre is unrepairable, because a lot of the time they are.
And if you're having an issue with abnormal tyre wear, remember it's really important not only to fix a tyre, but fix the problem that's causing it.
Here's a little bit of bonus info. Sometimes you might be told you need to replace a tyre just because it's old. And that's actually completely fair. Like tyres, they do age.
Yeah.
They sit out in the sun, in the heat and the UV. They do actually age and they go hard. So how to tell whether a tyre is old? I can tell you, there's this little stamped section on the sidewall of every tyre that's made. You get this little 4 number, and you can tell which number it is because you can tell it's unique. It's stamped onto the sidewall, and you can tell it's come from a little stamp. This one says 2624. Now what that tells you is that this tyre was manufactured in the 26th week of the year 2024. So you can actually tell from the sidewall of every tyre that's ever made how old it is. So if you've got tyres that have been on there for a very, very long time, even if they've got plenty of wear, even if they've been wearing correctly, even if they don't have a puncture, sometimes it's necessary to replace it.
That is a great point. You'll see in racing we have different options of compounds and things like that to get the grip. But yeah, once a tyre and the rubber goes off and the rubber gets super hard, you may as well be driving on Macca's trays. which is incredibly dangerous. So, yes, good point.
Thanks. It's like I know what I'm talking about sometimes. Only sometimes.
If you've got any questions, let us know in the comments below, or anything else you want us to cover, let us know, and we'll get to work.
Yeah, we're not just all a load of hot air and stuff.
That'll pay.
There's so much to talk about in tyres. Like, if you've got
If you like Dan's dad joke, subscribe.
Or maybe just like it's a singular one, was it? I thought
If
it
you
was
didn't, please still subscribe.
Okay. That's fair. I'll take that.